Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and I'm trying to show you one of my old radios. This is, and let me turn the volume down. Right now I'm receiving WWV on 5 megahertz. It's 7:45 a.m. here in Clearwater, Florida. I've attached my MFJ 31-foot vertical antenna to this radio, and let me turn the audio down, and I'm holding my webcam, one of my webcams. I've got it stretched as far as I can to get on the other side of my workshop. It may not be recognizable because it's so let's say it's been adjusted in that the original owner had access to one of these machines that makes these plastics stick-on labels, and so I guess the front of this panel had been repainted, and he painted over the original labels and put these things on there. Some of them are not quite level, but anyway, this is a Collins model R-388. It was built originally for the military. It weighs probably 50 pounds, and I put it in this position in my workshop. Let me back off a little bit. There's my computer stuff and my desktop or workbench over there. I put this up there probably 25 years ago, and now I can't move it because it's just way too heavy. It's an amazing device. This one I'm sure needs a tune-up because it hasn't been touched for probably 40 years, and it actually it tunes the whole shortwave band in 1 megahertz increments. So this scale up here is 1 megahertz. Right now it's 4.5 to 5.5 megahertz. And then there's a band changer knob over here that changes the bands. And I believe there are 31 bands, maybe 30 bands, something like that. And so it's the tuning on it is just precise because you have that wide tuning range, and then you use this knob to tune within that 1 megahertz band. So in this case you can tune from 4.5 megahertz up to 5.5, and in the middle is 5 megahertz, which is where I'm at. Has a number of adjustments. Up here we have selectivity. There's like 3 or 4 settings. That's basically the bandwidth of the IF. Here we have phasing. I'm not sure, I've forgotten what you use that for, because down here we have the BFO pitch. If you want to tune signal sideband, here's a separate switch for BFO on and off. Down here is the on-off or standby switch, RF gain, fine tuning, has a calibrator in it you can turn off, AVC you can turn on and off, a noise limiter in and out, a meter here. I don't think this is the original meter for giving you either the signal strength or an input, and or an output. I'm not sure what the output is. It's a momentary toggle, normally in the input position, so it's measuring SWR. Signal strength. And then main band change, auto gain. Down here we have a 0 adjustment for this dial in case it's off, which it is, and I can't adjust it any further. And then we had an antenna trimmer, which doesn't do a whole lot. We have a headphones jack down here. I don't know if I've even been pointing the camera at the right place. And then here's another one. I'm not sure what the other one is for. I'm using an external speaker, which is right here. And even though this thing is 45 years old, or actually it's older, but it's been in the family for 45 years. My father-in-law originally had it. He worked at setting up nuclear power plants, and one of his co-workers, he was electronic technician, and one of his co-workers had this radio, and so he bought it from him. He was at the time living in Georgia, where they were putting a new power plant in, and he lived out in the sticks because the power plant was out in the sticks. And the local sheriff at that time, this was, I'm guessing 30 years ago, the local sheriff was on the HF band. So he would listen to the local sheriff on this radio. I don't remember the frequencies. And he would also listen to CB radio up at 27 megahertz. And when he moved from that area back down to the Tampa Bay area, which this became, those things he wanted to do weren't as practical in this area, and he knew I was getting into shortwave radios, he gave me this radio. Like I say, it weighs 50 pounds, I think. At least 40 pounds, I know. And again, it's a military radio by Collins, the R-388. I have several radios like this from Collins. I think I have about a half a dozen in this series. They look very similar, and they have that super narrow wideband tuning. So we can go, for instance, let me turn the volume back up. So WWV on 5 megahertz is coming in fine. I would say it's coming in as strong on this radio right now as it does on my best SDR radio. And I'm just totally amazed that the capacitors haven't dried out, or the tuning hasn't drifted way off so you can't find anything. Just totally amazing. This thing is a tank. And I'm sorry for my moving around because I'm holding this webcam and trying to babble at the same time. But I just wanted to show it to you. I was over this way working on this computer right here, and I happened to look over and say, well, you know, I haven't turned this radio on for a long, long time. Probably, I think I turned it on 2 years ago just to see if it's still working. And I thought, do I dare turn it on without using inline current limiter in case something is shorted out? And I said, what the heck? Turned it on. It was working. So I hooked up my MFJ 31-foot antenna and tuned WWV, just like this thing was brand new. Now, maybe it was so good before that even in a degraded condition, it's still better than most of the radios I have. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. It's actually almost as old as me. No, not that old, but it's pretty old. I have to look this up and see how old it is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great day.